All right, man. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Fourth Rounders podcast. I go by Tweez, one of the hosts of the podcast. Right here next to me, I have my brother William. I mean, not William. Sorry, Eric. How you doing, man? I'm so used to doing that. It's almost like rinse and repeat. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Will wish he looked this good. Nah.
Yeah, right. That part. As you can see, William is not here. He is currently recovering because last time I heard that he broke my ankles. So yeah, I had break his arm. So what
Oh,
happened was he tried to dunk on me because he was talking too much, and I gave him like that Draymond Green smack, the one that just got him suspended indefinitely, like literally like 5 minutes ago, which
I
is
know, I know.
insane. Um, I gave William one of those Draymond hits, and then he fell and landed on his arm weird. So he's currently in the ER as we speak. Prayers go to William. We pray for a speedy recovery, my boy. I ain't gonna lie. My bad, bro. I'll try not to do that next time. But the Draymond Green energy came out of me, respectfully. um,
Will, don't
but
don't mess
yeah.
with the Tweed Green, all right? So,
Oh man, that's right. Tweez Green. Don't mess with Tweez Green. You already know. You already know. But first and foremost, man, just to get out the business part out the way, if you listen to this on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave a 5-star, leave a review. If you listen to this on YouTube, make sure you like, share, subscribe for more content. Any more of them apps? I can't think of too many more, but I think those are the main two. So that's all we need to know. But first and foremost, Eric, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I was getting ready to talk football, that stuff, and then I got a notification on my fantasy football app talking about Draymond Green just got suspended indefinitely. And I was like, dude, I was just talking to my some friends, some coworkers about at what point is Draymond Green still worth having around, you know? I mean, they just signed him for 4 years, $100 million. I mean, it's
Right.
not like football where they can just, kick him to the curb so easily. But but
Right.
at this point, it's kind of like, damn, like, is he really producing that much for the team where now they're down a guy or down a potential spot where they could have used that money to get a better player?
Yeah.
Just because I mean, honestly, he's just acting the fool out there, swinging, kicking, hitting, and I'm surprised he's not biting people on the you know, on the right side. But it's just crazy, man, to see that. Now I mean, so when they say suspended definitely, like, what exactly does that mean? Do you know?
Yeah. So basically, suspended indefinitely means that there's no timetable.
Okay.
So it's kind of so how from everybody that's kind of got a that has an idea about it. Basically, what ends up happening is that the NBA is probably going to give him like a list of things he has to do before they lift the suspension for him to get back on the floor. That can be 2 weeks, that can be 2 months. Like we don't necessarily know. All we know is that Draymond will not be in the Warriors uniform in the near foreseeable future. Which was crazy. I didn't even think they was gonna do it today. I was listening to the Bay Area sports radio stations all day. Everybody
Right.
was spazzing out. Everybody was like having their 2 cents, going crazy. And it was interesting because everybody was just waiting for like him to find out, like, because I thought maybe it would have been like maybe 5, 10 games, something like that. Because the last thing he did, he got 5 games. So I'm thinking maybe they give him like 20 games, probably double down on it. You know what I mean? But to have it where he's suspended indefinitely, yeah, I don't know. That's tough. That's very tough. I
Right.
do not know. I couldn't even tell you how long I think it's going to be. If I had to take a bet, it's probably gonna be some months. It's gonna be some months away from the game. Like we won't see Draymond for a while, and that's a big crush to the Warriors who have already probably been struggling all year. Um, just from the fact that they're just everybody just older. All the best players are just older now, and
Oh yeah.
now they have to kind of regroup and kind of figure out another way to win and probably trust the young players more moving forward. But yeah, Draymond, man, he been getting away with a lot. Like he when you play Draymond, he gonna hit you in the nuts, he might hit you in the neck. It's crazy, man. It's just like we get it, right? We all understand his passion of the game.
Right.
We understand like how he loves to compete, but there's a fine line between that. You know what I mean? Like you can't just be out here hitting people. You can't just be out here kicking people in the nuts. Like it's just uncalled for. And then
Right,
on top of that, you go in these interviews and you talk like, oh, it wasn't intentional, or it was just in the heat of the battle, and it's like ain't
right,
nobody trying to hear that. You know what I
right,
mean? You keep and it just happens to be you. Like
right,
nobody else is really doing that, bro. Like you're stepping on people, you're doing all these crazy things, and like the Warriors don't got really much to say. It's kind of just like, oh man, like it's just Draymond. Like
right, right,
so,
right.
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, long story short, suspended indefinitely just basically means like yeah, he probably won't be back for a long time, for a while. I won't say a long
No,
time, but for a while.
and honestly, what you were saying is true because I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like a kid in school. He does something bad one time. All right, whatever. Maybe he had a bad day. Maybe he just reacted wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He does another two, three times. Now he's labeled the bad kid. So the same thing with Draymond
Yes.
Green. I think the first.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure he's been doing it all his career, man. To be honest with you,
Yes.
but
For sure.
but
Yes.
I think the first time the world caught the caught maybe the a sneak into who Draymond Green is was back during that trilogy between the Cavaliers and the Warriors with LeBron
Yeah.
when he literally put his fingers in LeBron's eyes. Now, at that time, everybody was like, "Oh no, LeBron's just a crybaby, this and that," even though he literally cut his eyeball. But
Yeah.
that was just like, "Oh well, maybe I mean, LeBron's just a crybaby." But no, I mean, if you look back now, the way he does now is like, okay, no, it wasn't LeBron. That was literally Draymond Green trying to blind the guy. So
Yes. Exactly.
it is definitely a pattern with him, and honestly, it's kind of a good thing the NBA did that to him, just because, like you say, he's getting away with so much that he's just so confident that they're not going to do nothing about him. They might just suspend him for like 5 games, like you said, and that's just maybe a
Mm-hmm.
vacation for him.
Yeah.
And now, maybe now he's going to have to take it real serious about how he's acting. So,
Yeah, for
uh,
sure. And I agree. And I agree 100%. Like, yeah, he been doing this his whole career. Like, it started probably the first instance was when he kicked Steven Adams in the nuts. Probably it was like 2012, I believe, in the
right, right, right.
playoffs. He
Mm,
did that, and everybody was like, "Dog, how do you even get in the position to do that?" Because the way he
right,
did it, it wasn't even like it was unnecessary, right? And then you just
right.
have these histories of events of you just attacking players, and it's like it's not a coincidence. Whether you want to act like it's just in the motion of the game is beyond me. But needless to say, like you said, like just like a kid, right? Like back in the day, remember how you had the when you was in elementary school, you had the green card, the yellow card, and the red
Uh-huh.
card.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly,
like
exactly.
green card, you good. The yellow card is like, we trust you, but you on that line. And then
Right.
once you get to that red card, it's like, all right, bro, you in trouble. But then we had one too, the blue card. No, once you in the blue card, it's over. Like
Oh yeah.
you out the league. Yeah,
Also,
we had it was
NBA gave him the blue card then.
not yet. I think if like this blue card is like who has like you do you remember a player named OJ Mayo? I know it's
Nah.
random, but
Yeah. No.
so
No.
I
No.
read so like he got caught with drugs, like
Uh.
hardcore drugs, and he got kicked out the league. That's the blue card to me.
Oh. Okay.
When
Okay.
you're not
Okay.
be able to come back to the league. I think he's on
Right.
the red card. That can go to a blue card. Okay, I'll give you a better example. Kyrie was almost on the blue card.
Okay.
He was almost on the blue card, but he was on like a solid red. So
Right.
I think Draymond is probably on a solid red as of right now. That's why he's suspended indefinitely. And yeah, man, we just got to see how this plays out. Hopefully he takes some time to himself. I think he just kind of needs to get away from basketball because I think also too the Warriors is not the same Warriors too. You
No.
know what I mean?
No.
Like
Yeah.
growing up, like ever since probably what 2012, 2013, they've always been in the finals discussion, right?
Right.
We going on like 10 years of that, and I know emotionally being in that, competitive energy can be draining. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And can kind of make you hallucinate. I'm pretty sure as far as being an athlete's concerned. So hopefully he takes this time to kind of separate and kind of understand or kind of get his fixings back. So we'll see. We will see, man.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every now and again, we get a little basketball talk. I know it's a football podcast, but we can talk basketball from time to
Right.
time.
Right.
I
Right.
actually like it. You know what I'm saying? Facts.
Right.
Um, Okay, so I do this with William. I'm gonna do this with you. Let me
Okay,
see if you know players.
let's do it.
So this is episode, I believe, 16, right? I need a player that wears number 16.
A player named Trevor Lawrence, no?
I was thinking the same thing, and I think you're right, actually. Yeah, 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 it's Trevor
16,
Lawrence.
no?
Yeah, 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 Trevor Lawrence. See, that's
Uh,
what I'm saying. Look, see, that's somebody you know players. You know what I'm saying? I asked William this. I promise you, we do it every week. I ask William. I'll ask him like, okay. And the crazy part about it is he knows it's coming. He just don't. He don't study for it. Like I asked him. I asked him. I'm like, yo, give me a player that wears this number. He usually gets. He usually doesn't know. Usually doesn't know. It is almost like dog. Like I like the lower numbers are the easier ones, right?
right,
Because
yeah,
it's
quarterbacks.
usually all skill players, quarterbacks or
Right,
whatever. Once if we get to like 40, 50, you're going to struggle because you
right,
don't probably don't
right,
know nobody in that number. So like it'd be surprising to me that he get these beginning ones wrong. So
right.
yeah,
That's
but
Will
yeah,
for you.
so yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. Well, moving along, man, we're going on to week 14, man. It was definitely a an interesting week. A lot of upsets this week as far as football concerned. We definitely are coming into that point now in time where a lot of teams are kind of separating themselves or they're trying to make a playoff push, man. As far as I'm
Right.
concerned, you have a lot of teams, especially like for example in the AFC, where you have look like about a good, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have about 6 teams that's 7-6, which is definitely a bunch to get in
Right,
the wild
right.
card spot. You look at the NFC, it's the opposite. You got 5 or 6 teams at 6 or 7. So, you know, that crowd for the playoff spot is definitely hectic right now, especially with only like 3 games to play. A lot of things can change in the near future. As of today, though, we have a lot of teams that are pretty locked in to probably make the playoffs, but a lot of people are skeptical about certain teams, whether it's injuries, whether they don't believe the side of the ball of their said team. There's definitely some question marks for certain teams going into the playoffs. My question to you is, in your opinion, from what you've seen so far, what team do you think is the most pretender that's a contender?
Hmm. Um. Okay. It's hard to say because there. Okay, so for example, right now, I know we're gonna talk power rankings later and all that, but right now,
Hmm.
number one power ranked team right now would be probably the 49ers, right? As
Yes.
much as I am not a fan, but we're just talking football, but 49ers number one team in the league right now, right? But if you would
Yes.
have asked me this, you would have asked me this like 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that. You would ask me this 5 weeks ago, I could have said, oh, well, 49ers. Because they
Hmm.
had that streak of losing for a little bit. And then they
Yes.
came back from that. So sometimes, you could do so good, but you just hit that one bump like the Eagles are hitting right now that might get you thinking like, oh, that's a pretenders team right there because they're getting their
Yeah.
ass whipped left and right right now, you know? And then another team, the Dolphins, it's kind of crazy to see how they literally fall apart by Tyreek Hill not being on the field. I mean, dude, they got their asses whipped by the Titans. All right, by first of all, the rookie quarterback William Levi. I mean, don't get me wrong, Levi's is a boy. All right, he, I, I'm a big fan of how he plays a quarterback. To be honest with you, I mean, does he need a lot of work? Yes, but I love his passion, how he plays. But the fact that the Dolphins lost to the Titans like that, was it a big difference in score? No, it was what was it, 28-27. One point
Hmm.
game. But still, I mean, come on, you're the Dolphins. You're on paper, technically, you guys are stacked left and right, and you lose one player, and if somehow he can't make it back to the playoffs, which I'm sure he will, but let's say he couldn't, dude, they're done. That's it. They're probably get knocked out in the first round, to be honest with you. So if Tyreek Hill can't come back on the field, I would say that's the number one team that would be a contender for the playoffs.
Mm.
For that reason, if Tyreek Hill can't come back, the Eagles, if they lose this next week again, I'd say that they'll fall into the category. Even though their records right now they look great,
Hmm.
but it's at the end of we're at the end of the season, really. You know,
Yeah.
So you're losing. Every team is losing top players. They're superstars, right?
Yeah.
So, but if
Hmm.
you're a team that can't figure it out and get back on track just because you lost a couple players, then I would definitely say you're a pretender contender. You know, because you got teams like the Chiefs that have lost players and they're somehow still get it together. I mean, so I would say right now, honestly, man, I think number one would be the Dolphins. Dolphins right now would be one of the pretenders for me, just because they can't get it together without Hill.
Yeah. Okay. I think I would probably have to second that. I think okay. Well, okay, let me see. I would have to agree. I think my number one team would be the Dolphins. I think with them losing against the Titans, I think last night, and especially the way that they lost, I think that was
Right,
kind of the jaw dropping thing, right? Like, I was watching I got a friend that lives in Florida. He's a Miami Dolphin fan, and we was
right,
watching the game together, and we was talking, and we was talking trash. So I'm like, yo, the score was like 13-10. I think it was a relatively close game going into like the fourth quarter, and I'm like, dog, y'all struggling with the Tennessee, who hasn't the offense has been incompetent all season.
right.
Derrick Henry's probably had his worst year that he's had so
Oh yeah,
far up to this point. And DeAndre Hopkins, as much as I respect his game, I think he's probably took a step down. And I don't for some reason I don't even know why he went to Tennessee. It never made sense to me. But
right,
that's neither here nor there, right? Um, you know, them having a dogfight with them was kind of almost kind of, especially being at home. It was definitely something interesting. And then the last like 5 minutes of that game was just unthinkable, right? Like the Titans was pretty much they had got the stop they needed. Miami punts the ball. The punt returner from the Tennessee fumbles it, right? They
right.
score. I mean, Miami recovers it. They score. It's 13-20. Then they get back on offense. What's his name? Levi Levis.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's Levis. Will Levis. We're just gonna say
yeah.
Will Levis.
Uh,
Well, I hope I'm saying his name right.
yeah. I've been saying
Um,
Levi's, but it could be either or.
give me Levis. Um, he pitches it to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry fumbles. They pick it up again. I think on their side of the field, and they score again. So
Right.
now the score is 13-27 with only I remember it was like maybe 3 minutes left, maybe
Game
even
over.
two.
Game over.
Game over, right? In most cases, I turned the game off. I started watching basketball because we still had spreads, parlays to get hit.
Right, right, right.
So I'm like, okay, this game is over. I'm gonna go watch something else. I kid you not, they score. Matter of fact, no, I take that back. I wound up watching the Packers game because the Packers game and the Giants game was close.
Right.
Um, I looked up at the scoreboard. It said the Titans had scored again. So I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna turn back in and check it out. They got to stop. So then they got to stop. Titans drove down the field. They did have a questionable offsides call that was I don't know what they called in that moment. I think it was like I thought they may have called a neutral zone infraction because the wide receiver for the Titans he walked off like he knew he did something wrong, but they didn't even call it on him.
Right.
He knew he did something wrong, but he drove down the field again. They scored, and then the defense just locked up and just locked up. They got a sack, and then they won the game. And it was like to lose the game like that within the 2 3 minute span when you was up by two touchdowns was definitely very alarming, especially with a team that, if you look at their schedule, hasn't played nobody all year. Right? They haven't won a game against anybody of a winning record, which is unheard of, especially of a team that's trying to compete for a championship. Right?
Right.
You
Right.
look at their schedule. You look at their schedule. They beat the Chargers, the Patriots, Broncos, Giants, Panthers, Patriots, Raiders, Jets, Commanders. None of them teams are really like
None of them.
none of them. You know what I'm saying? Like none of them teams you like, oh, they in the playoffs. But you lost to Buffalo by 28. You lost to the Eagles by 14. You lost to the Chiefs, close game, but you still lost that game. And you just lost to the Titans. And now you have the Jets, the Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Bills to finish off the season. I still think they probably take care of business. I don't know what those next after the Jets game. Even the Jets may be a good game, but we'll have to see. I don't know what those the Cowboys versus the Ravens and the Bills will look like. But I still expect them to make the playoffs. But for a team that has championship aspirations, I think compared to everybody else, that is one team that I'm looking at. Like I don't think y'all really say. I don't think y'all are what y'all think y'all are.
Right.
To be honest, I think they may be fool's gold in a sense, and it looks great because their offense is very flashy. They have speed everywhere. It's very dynamic. But when it comes to playoff football, you got to be able to run the ball, and they have shown to be able to run the ball. But a lot of that pretty speed doesn't really be able to get displayed, especially in playoff football. So for me, I agree. I think it would probably be the Miami Dolphins, and also it may be Philly. I think I might have to put Philly on that list too, man. I think I might have to put Philly on the list, man. I think
I'm gonna
that
hold off on that one until after this week. If they lose
until after
again,
this week,
okay,
and that's
for
fair,
sure.
right? But I think for me, I don't even know if it's necessarily that they pretenders, but I think that because I mean they made it to the Super Bowl, right? So it's not necessarily that they pretenders, right? Because they
Right.
made it to the promised land. But I think everybody knows it. They're kind of holding on to a thread, right? Like they were last year. I think it looked like they were confidently better than teams, right?
Right.
Compared to this year, it's like, yeah, you could say they better, but not really. Not really to me, at least.
Right.
Like
Right. Right. No. 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 I agree.
clearly, they run it. The Niners are the best team in the NFC, right? You got them. You got the Cowboys, and it's put like this. As of today, the Philadelphia Eagles look closer to the Cowboys and everybody else than the Niners up to this point. Now,
Right.
can that change? For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think, what I'm saying? And granted, it's tough, right? They had a tough like stretch where they had to play the Dolphins, the Commanders, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Bills, and they won all of those games.
Right. Right.
Then they
Right.
got
Right.
to the Raiders and they got to the Niners and the Cowboys and just laid two eggs. So it's like we just gonna have to see, man, because the rest of the schedule is pretty light. They play at the Seahawks, at the Giants. I mean, versus the Giants, versus the Cardinals, and at the Giants. So I expect them to probably win at least three of these games, maybe give up one, and then get ready for the playoffs. But my eyes is definitely on Philly and Miami for sure, because I think those are the two teams where it's just like, oh, I don't know, it ain't looking too good. But Miami for sure,
Miami for
Miami
sure.
for
Miami
sure,
for sure.
100%.
I think the Jets, especially this next game, if Zach Wilson can play like he did this past game, uh,
Yes,
the Jets are gonna destroy. The Jets are going to
yes.
destroy them because their defense is solid. It's bet. Look, I can almost bet money if Tyreek Hill isn't playing, they're gonna they're gonna lose. And then going up against the Bills have been pretty inconsistent to me. So maybe they could win that one. But you said the last two games were the Chiefs and who?
What you mean? Who?
Against Miami.
Oh, against Miami, the last two games I believe is between. If I look at the schedule, they last games of the season are versus the Jets at home, versus Cowboys at Ravens versus Bills,
Okay, so maybe they beat the Bills, but they're gonna get whooped by the Cowboys and the
and they got
Ravens.
to go on the road. Yeah, I think they lose at on the road against us. I think they may lose on the road. They may lose at home against the Bills. But it really depends on these. I say these first two games will kind of dictate how the rest go. If they win in the Jets, I think they lose at the Cowboys, they lose at the Ravens, and then they probably win versus the Bills. But I
Yeah,
think
they,
I see them going 2-2. I see them going 2-2 the next four games.
I'd say they only get one win to be honest with you, and it really that's either only between the Jets
Ooh,
and the Bills because they're not
ooh,
beating the Ravens and they're not beating the Cowboys because
ooh. That would be very interesting.
I, you can quote me on that one later on. Only one win is either between the Jets and the Bills. All right, they lose the other three
Interesting.
for sure. 100% they
I'm
lose to the
it
Ravens and the
does.
Cowboys. 100%.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's crazy, right? Because you say that, and then it's like you look at the division, right? As far as the AFC East, and the Miami Dolphins don't have the Division One yet, right? Like the Miami is 9-4, Buffalo Bills is 7-6, the New York Jets is 5-8. With the Buffalo Bills schedule being, they have versus the Cowboys, at Chargers, versus Patriots, at Dolphins. Depending on how this Cowboys game go, they can sneak and win this division.
Right.
Justin Herbert is gone for the year.
He's out.
Yeah, the Patriots, they pretty much going to tuck it in for the year since this is probably Bill Belichick's last year.
Right.
And then that probably that last game of the season could easily be for the AFC crown, the AFC
Right.
East crown rather.
Right.
So Yeah, I don't know, man. The Dolphins better tighten up. They definitely the Titans game was not the game they wanted to give up. That was not the
No,
game they wanted to give up. So, because they could have gave them a little comfort room. So now they got to kind of really play these next four games. So, like you said, Zach Wilson, especially coming off the way they played the Texans last week, I would definitely have them on my radar because with him, if he can show consistency to be able to without play relaxed and play with a confidence, I think they can definitely get upsetted again. And you have that 3 week stretch we got versus the Cowboys at Ravens versus the Bills. Tough. That's a tough. That's a
that's what I'm
tough
saying.
3 game
That's
stretch.
that's what I'm
Very
saying.
tough 3 game stretch.
And I don't know about you, but Zach Wilson blew my mind this week, dude. That guy's been so consistent. He's been getting like he gets benched and started, and then like we don't know what's going on with the guy. And then this week he's the AFC Player of the Week. That dude,
It's
that's
crazy.
nuts. That's nuts. So
It's
I mean that's what
crazy.
I'm saying. I
It's
mean
crazy.
I don't know if the Dolphins will be able to get through them if Zach Wilson can keep that momentum going.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be tough, man. It just sucks, man. Because Zach Wilson, to be fair to him, I think he never really had a chance to kind of develop the way he wanted to, right? I think that in a perfect world, he wanted to develop under Aaron Rodgers, right? I think he wanted
Right,
to see what, he wanted to learn from that. He wanted to get all the game, get the tutelage from him. And unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers got hurt 3 plays in, 2 plays in, right? So
right,
your whole thought process gets flipped on side his head. And now you're learning from Aaron Rodgers' playbook because they've been making their whole scheme based on Aaron Rodgers, not you.
right, right.
So then you got that. You're inconsistent because you just don't know the playbook that well, or at least you still kind of like recovering from last year. And it's just tough, man, especially when you have that pressure of being a quarterback, especially in New York, man. I can't remember the last good quarterback besides Mark Sanchez that the Jets really had, right? Like it's
Yeah.
been a long time since they
No,
had a good quarterback.
Zach Wilson's probably the best quarter. I mean, he's not that
From a
good.
talent standpoint, I think he's one of the better quarterbacks they have. But
Yeah,
I think his thing is more mental more than anything
right.
because the talent is there. I just think mentally he gets in his own head because of the pressure that being on the New York Jets gives him.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully, and they did say allegedly that they supposed to be shipping him out next year. So to me, I hope he stays 1 year. I still hope he stays one more year so he can just learn under Aaron Rodgers for real and let him run the show so he can see what that looks like because I think he really needs that just for his confidence. Because I mean, when you got him, throwing for I think he had what 250, 300 yards last week against the Texans,
He had
and the
like
Texans been on
340 yards, something like
fire.
that.
That's what I'm saying, and especially to
Yeah,
do that against the Texans that
yeah,
that was red hot up to this point,
right,
and then with the defense that locked them up to what 6 points, that's not something that I could just wave over like nah, that's a fluke. Like okay, you got it in you. We just need something. You just need to build more confidence in your own talent. So
right. No, for sure.
we'll see, man. We
We'll
will
see.
see, man.
Wait, before we move
Well,
on, do you know what year Zach Wilson's on?
what
Since
year?
yeah, since he came in the NFL.
What year? I think he's year two, if I believe correctly. I can look it up real quick. I believe he's year two, though. Believe should be year two because last
Last year he was a
year,
rookie.
yes, I believe so. I want to say year. No, my bad. He's on year three. It looks like. No. Hold on. Let me see. Let me pull it up real quick. So many Zach Wilsons in the league. I mean, so many Zachs in the league. He is on year. He's year three. This is his year. This is his third year.
Yeah, he's not going to be there next year.
Yeah. He won't
The,
be there
the
next year.
the
So
Jets don't want nothing to do with that 5 year contract eventually.
yeah, they don't want nothing to do with that. So we'll see. We'll see, man. Hopefully Zach Wilson can figure it out. I was just talking to him. Where do you think Zach Wilson can go if the Jets decide to get rid of him? Where could you see him playing quarterback at? I got like 2 or 3 teams in mind.
So he can either go. Who's the Falcons quarterback right now?
Desmond Riddler.
Okay. Well, he can either go to. because it depends what the Bucks want to do with Mayfield. You know,
Yes,
um,
valid. Oh, that's an actually I didn't even think about that.
yeah,
Huh.
he can go with the Bucks, but at the same time, for example, obviously I ain't nothing, but if I was the Bucks organization, I would
Uh-huh.
keep Mayfield one more year. I would keep Mayfield one more
Okay.
year, just
Yeah.
just waiting for that solid rookie quarterback to come in. You know,
Yeah.
I would keep him one more year, but if they didn't, I mean, Zach Wilson could go over there. He could go over to shit, even over to the Browns. I don't think Deshaun Watson's gonna do anything, man. Honestly, I to me, I think he'll be gone within the next year or two. I just don't see him really in the league that much longer. He's always hurt. He has all this bad stuff going around in his name. But Zach Wilson
Yeah. They
could
got a tough that's a tough contract that he got 250 million.
there that dude. It's like how I can't be. I don't want to curse on the podcast too much, but it's like how do you
Good.
give that guy that much money when he's never, even his best year he had, he's never performed at a $250 million level. It's
Yeah.
like it's like I don't.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Mahomes got that, but for a 10-year contract. So it's like
Yeah.
how the hell do you give Deshaun Watson that? That's dude. That
Yeah.
organization, dude, they're still playing certain coaches off that haven't coached for them in the last 7 8 years. All right, so
Yeah.
they obviously I don't know if they know what they're doing with their money, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Zach Wilson can go to the Bucks. I don't know. I haven't really seen Ridley play. I haven't been paying attention to him. But if he's not that good, he can go to the Falcons. And then probably the last team that he can go to, oh, the Vikings. The Vikings don't got no one.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? We were thinking the same thing. I was thinking on the lines of Minnesota. I like Tennessee for him too. I don't think Tennessee has a quarterback that they like, right? And I think with Brian Tannehill kind of on the back end of his career, if you had to pick a mentor, I think Tannehill would be a good option. And if they don't like Levis, based on what they've seen this year, but it looked like they probably may stay with him. So probably, I would say probably Minnesota. I do like the Bucks though. That definitely was definitely a twist. I think Baker Mayfield has a pretty solid year that I think they'll probably bring him back for one more year.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta got a. I think Atlanta could take whatever. I think they'll take a chance on him too because Desmond Ritter, he's just not a good quarterback to me, in my opinion.
No, no. Okay, okay. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen
Yeah,
him
he's
play to
just
be
not.
honest.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's probably the worst starting quarterback in the league.
Really? He's
He's
that
like
bad?
literally he's that bad. Like he just the way like he's very inaccurate. The way he reads coverages is terrible. And to like you see certain highlights and like the way that his receivers have to fight for catches that should just be wide open is insane. It's insane. I've
These
never
guys
seen a
are in a
quarterback that
dogfight
bad.
for every reception.
Facts. It's insane. It's insane. But that whole Atlanta as a whole, they just have a whole like organization issue, coaching issue. Everything around there is just very bad, and it's crazy. They still fighting for the NFC South title. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I would probably say Minnesota and probably I say Minnesota and Atlanta. I'll keep it to those two. I keep it to those two,
Okay,
man.
good. Because I didn't agree with the Titans, but I agree with those two.
Yeah,
Those are.
yeah, I keep it to
I
those
like
two.
Levis.
Uh,
That guy's gonna be.
yeah,
He's the future. He's the future quarterback for that team. I really think
yeah.
so.
That's why I kind of left off of it because I'm like now that I had to really like sit down and think. I'm like, yeah, he just came, he just helped come back against the Dolphins. He probably gonna stay. He'll probably
Yeah,
stay and let Ryan
no, that's
Tannehill
their guy.
develop with him. So yeah. Well, moving along, man. Since we in the AFC, we've been talking about the AFC East a lot. We're probably going to stay in that division. And we'll talk about New England, man. It's rumored that allegedly this will be Brian or Bill Belichick's last season. They're struggling right now up to this point. I think they have I want to say like 2-10 record or something right now. Very terrible. I think
They're
that
3-10. They're 3-10. Yeah.
3-10. This is probably the worst I've seen in the Bill Belichick era. And I think allegedly they're supposed to be parting ways at the end of the season. Um, Definitely time for a new regime in New England. I think we've seen 20 years or 20 plus years of just New England football that's been kind of relatively the same. Bill Belichick, for better or for worse, is a great coach, great defensive coach.
Right.
Definitely a chess match anytime you play them. Offensively, never really seemed to have anything together outside of when Brady was there. But granted, it's Brady, right? Like
Right.
Brady is Brady. But it kind of took an injury from Drew Bledsoe way back when to probably discover that, just like how the Niners stumbled upon Brock Purdy, right? Like
Right. No, for sure.
where we there's a world where we probably don't really know what Brady is because Brady wasn't, what I'm saying, the top player, the 6th round draft pick. So you never really know. But needless to say, what's done is done. Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches to ever coach. Um, it doesn't. Nobody said if he's retiring or nothing, so I'm gonna assume that he's not. But I guess Bill Belichick will look to probably coach somewhere else. My question to you is, where could you see him coaching? Or do you think he's done after this year?
Man, you know, I well, first to say first, it used to piss me off when they would always when Tom Brady left the Patriots, and everybody would say, um, well, who won the championships, Tom Brady or Bill Belichick? Like who's
Yes.
the real Patriots? Is it Brady or is it Belichick? And
Yeah.
unfortunately, in one way, unfortunately for Belichick, Tom Brady went on to win the Super Bowl literally the next season,
Yeah.
in Tampa Bay, but
Uh huh.
sometimes that could be a little bit small-minded thinking because in Bill Belichick's mind, he might be saying, "Well, you're welcome, Tampa Bay." He's like, "I developed that guy for the last 20 years, so
Facts.
or 20 plus years,
Facts.
so you won that championship because of me." And obviously, he's not going to say that, and then haters aren't going to say that either. But uh, I think for obviously Bill Belichick's going to do whatever he does. But if I were him, I'd be done. I'd be done coaching. I think what he went through and what he did was
All right, my bad. Sorry, this is some weird technical difficulty. Go ahead, continue.
no, you're good. No, basically, I was just saying is Bill Belichick. I see him retiring next year. It doesn't really make sense for him to stay. He already basically did his job one time around. He built that Patriots organization to literally the best organization in the NFL. Um, and he won, what was it, five Super Bowls, five
Yeah,
Super Bowls with them. And that's just him, like under his coaching. So for him to, I'm sure he tried already to redo it, but I think he's just in a point in his life probably that he's probably not going to have the patience, not going to have the same. He's not the same Bill Belichick from over 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, sure.
I see him leaving. Maybe he goes and coaches college, maybe, but I just don't see him coaching anymore. It just doesn't. Maybe because of his legacy, it doesn't really make sense for me in my mind for him to go and coach. Maybe he does something else. Do I know? Can I see what he might be doing? No, I have no idea because I can't even imagine a world where Bill Belichick's not coaching specifically the Patriots. Um, but if I learned anything of Josh McDaniel is that those Patriots coaches, they're loyal to that team, and I just can't see them going anywhere else. So I think this last year. I don't think he coaches another NFL team.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm on the same wavelength as you. Um, Now that I kind of sit and play that back, I don't really see a world where he doesn't play. I mean, that where he doesn't coach at all outside of Just wait, hold on, real quick. Does my mom sound different?
No, you sound a little louder, but you're good.
Okay, but I don't see a world where he coaches another team either. Like he's one of them. Like it's like that player like Dirk, like Kobe, right? Where you see a player they played for 20 years and they retire with that one team because
Right,
you kind of just know like, oh, when you think Dallas, you think Dirk. You think the Lakers, you think Kobe. When you think the Warriors, you think Steph. I think when you think New England, you think Bill Belichick.
right,
You know what I'm saying? So I agree. I think he'll probably end up retiring. I think after this year. I mean, if I could see him on another team, it'd probably be a team with a young quarterback. I mean, I think first and foremost, or maybe a relatively good defense. Maybe even seeing him with the Chargers, maybe a nice little twist or a different spin. They could probably use some coaching. I know Justin Herbert would definitely be help. It would definitely kind of get him in the right direction because Justin Herbert has not really had the best success when it comes to winning. And I
Right,
think if he had some Belichick tutelage, I think that would help a lot, especially if he could kind of, make him play a little bit more smarter, dink and dunk. Because I mean, the arm talent's there, but I think sometimes the mental could kind of uh get caught in that. But yeah, man. I mean, outside of that, I think I agree. I think he'll probably be done. If not this year, definitely next year. Because I just, it's just certain coaches kind of like, what, you don't really have nothing else to prove.
right,
You at this point you'll probably just be doing it just because you love a game, which ain't nothing wrong with that. But
right.
at the same time, it's like as far as legacy is concerned, you're not proving nothing to us. I think that granted, outside if you really trying to get one outside of Brady, if that really matters to you that much, but
Right, right, right.
I mean, outside of that, like it really doesn't matter what yeah, I mean, like your legacy is stamped, it's solidified. I don't think nobody can take that from you. So you really wouldn't have much to prove, in my opinion. Um,
I mean,
I agree.
if you went to any other team, I can only really see like three quarterbacks that he can go coach, and he would probably have a good connection with them and be able to develop a good team with them. Because I mean, think about it. You got Bill Belichick. I think he can go and coach. I think he can go and coach Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow would be
Hmm.
a good connection with him. Justin Herbert, and honestly, even Derek Carr. I think those would
Hmm.
be quarterbacks that could listen to Bill Belichick and develop under Bill Belichick. But I can't see, for example, Lamar Jackson getting coached by Bill Belichick only because Lamar Jackson, he's probably just so much louder, and he knows that he runs this shit with
Yeah,
the Ravens. Someone like Patrick Mahomes too. If you look at the sidelines half of the time, Andy Reid is telling Mahomes, just do what you do.
yeah,
Half of the time he's not even coaching anymore because Mahomes ain't listening to him. You think Bill Belichick could coach someone like Mahomes, telling him not listening to the plays most of the time? Probably. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the
yeah,
high energy and how they command the field, Bill Belichick would crash with somebody like that. So honestly, I guess. Oh, and Trevor Lawrence would probably be another quarterback that that probably mesh well with Bill Belichick, just based off of their mannerisms and how they react on the field. So. If you
yeah.
went anywhere, maybe with some of those quarterbacks, but I just don't think he'll go anywhere else, to be honest.
Yeah. Hey, it's crazy, right? Like if you notice, and it's crazy that you bring that up because I was mentioning to my homeboy about it, where we was talking about like how if you notice certain quarterbacks in the league match their coach as far as
Right,
like personality, right? Like you got like for example like Lamar and Jim Harbaugh. They're very like aggressive, right? Like they're
right,
very competitive. They are willing to risk it all. They're willing to go for it. You know what I mean? They have a very like gritty, get it attitude, right? Where
right,
you got Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, right? They like to freestyle a lot. Like they
right.
like to get creative.
Oh yeah,
You know, and they'll create a play off the wing. They'll do Duck Goose, come out the huddle, throw something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Then
right,
you got like even Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan where they're very technical. Nothing's extravagant, but everything is to a science. You know what I'm
right,
saying? We're gonna
right,
play it safe. We're gonna play everything conservative, but we're gonna be accurate. You know what I mean? We're gonna be
right,
tactical. So it's very interesting to see how coaches pick quarterbacks that kind of fit their personalities. And I think, like I said, I think that's why I think I said the Chargers because I think Belichick could fit Justin Herbert because Herbert's not that. He's not to me. He don't come off as like a show off or like not that type of like extra guy. Like he trying to put in work.
right,
He just has the arm talent to look like one of them type of guys. But I think he really, really is like a very like okay, we trying to get straight to the point. I'm trying to win. So
right.
um, yeah, it'd be very interesting, man. I hope. I don't know whether I feel like I hope that this is his last year or not because I don't know if I really care that much. I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest. Like I don't know if I care that much for Bill Belichick to still be in the league or not. And maybe that's just for me not really like. I think I've just seen so many battles with him that to the point where it's just like, okay, I just want something fresh. But it's like outside of Brady, he hasn't really been in the discussion. So it's like I haven't really like noticed that he wasn't there no more because there's been players, there's been teams, there's been coaches that kind of took that spot and ran with it.
Right.
Um, but definitely for the time that they was in the discussion and never felt like they was out of it. It was like, especially with your team being the Raiders, when it was the AFC, you got to see New England at some point. You
Oh
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? There was a point where like, yo, no matter how good you is, you got to go to New England and figure that out if you
Right.
really like it or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of crazy how the world works, man, and how times have changed because man, it literally was like that. Like you had to, like if you was really one of them teams, you had to go through New England and
Well,
be
they
able
were
to
the
beat Brady.
gatekeepers. They were the
Exactly, they were
gatekeepers.
the gatekeepers. They were the gatekeepers to the ring. Like if you could get through them, you was pretty much locked. You was pretty much locked to win more times than not. I think.
Right.
You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So
For sure.
to see how that time has changed, man, is definitely interesting to see nowadays, man. And yeah. Yeah, shout out to Belichick, man. He definitely ruined some teams, man, that could have won a ring, like the Ravens, like 0-2. We still ain't they haven't we they I played I'm from Oakland, so I could say it.
Right. Right.
Ain't
Right.
really
Right.
the Tuck fumble, that definitely
Bastards.
yeah, that's crazy, right? It's never recovered since then. That's crazy.
And honestly, man, you know what? Tom Brady and Bill Belichick stole so many potential rings away from the Steelers, from
Yes.
Ben, specifically Roethlisberger. That
Yes.
guy could have won the Super Bowl, I think, against I think almost any NFC team that made it. I think they could have taken them all, but they only got past Tom Brady what twice?
Yes.
That's it.
That's it, yeah.
So so yeah, man. So that's yeah, they were the gatekeepers. Now it's pretty much been the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs is
Uh,
pretty much new gatekeepers at this point. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I think this year might look a little different. Especially with them kind of not being, which are probably leading to my next question now that we can talk about it. With the AFC leading, with the Chiefs being probably the gatekeepers now for the past like 3 to 4 years, and with them not really being the best team, but you still got to go through Arrowhead at some point in time, right? It just
right,
feels
right.
like. Um, what team do you think is the best in the AFC as of today?
Okay. Well, look, based off the record, the records, the Ravens,
Yes.
uh, uh, and not just because it's your team,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
look, I would say the Ravens are the best teams, but I mean, okay. So far, I'll say this: the Ravens might be the best team in the AFC, just because the record, the way they're playing, there's just some dogs out there.
mm-hmm.
Harbaugh and Jackson, they're literally perfect for each other. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I honestly, I know Beckham isn't, um, he's not in his prime anymore. But man, they were so smart to pick him up because when they need him, he's there. Uh,
Well, he's been a lifesaver. I'll tell you that he's been a
that
lifesaver for
that's what I'm
sure.
saying. That's what I'm saying. So he's like, yeah, he might not. Is he the best wide receiver like he used to be? No, but he still holds his own, and he was a big reason why the Rams won the Super Bowl. You know,
Yes.
a lot of people they say no, but I'm like, nah, dude, like he was putting in work. I think what he broke his leg during that game, or his knee, he tore his ACL something.
Yeah, towards
Uh,
AC. Yep.
but he was already all messed up at the beginning of the game. But anyways, so I think Beckham being on that team really changed it. Now I think they're the best team in the AFC, but no matter how the Chiefs maybe been looking these last couple games, no matter what the record is, the fact that I don't really think they have any solid receivers on the team this year. Uh, outside of Kelsey, I know Rice he's been coming through. Um, he's been coming through, but I mean, he's not like top five wide receiver, nothing like that. Nowhere close. Um, I think Kelsey, obviously Kelsey's the number one tight end. I still think. But the reason why I can't fully say Ravens are the number one team is because the Chiefs, at when it comes time to get to that Super Bowl, even if they've been playing pretty trashy lately, dude, I wouldn't be surprised they win the whole damn thing. Just because Patrick Mahomes is a dog. When it comes down to get to that ring, dude, he was playing with almost a broken ankle last year and won the Super Bowl. Come on.
Yes.
So that's why it's hard to always keep them outside of number one team in the AFC. But yeah, definitely the Ravens. Definitely the Ravens. With a hint
Man,
of Chiefs.
I probably just and you know what's so funny? I knew I put the topic in here because I was like, yeah, we gotta talk about Rays, man. But I took time to really like sit down and really think about it, and like you took the words out of my mouth, bro. Like I would agree. I do think on based on standings and the record, I think we are the best team. However, to be subjective would be objective, right? I think that we have the best record, but I'm gonna be honest, we're not really battle tested yet,
Right.
to be completely honest. I think that you look at the AFC, the only team that's legit battle tested is Kansas City and Buffalo if they make it, right?
Right.
Like
Right. Right. Right.
we have a good record. I think Lamar's 1 and 2 of playoff games. We probably, you know what I'm saying? We have only been to the second round. Miami, I think only been to the second round, but that was with they backup quarterback, so we really don't know what they are.
Right.
Jacksonville struggled, like literally gave up a 28-point lead last year. Cleveland, who knows they had when the last time they been to the playoffs, right? You got Pittsburgh. I mean, they 7-6, but they finna probably plummet pretty soon.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just like, man, like you look at these teams, right? And it's like, yeah, like this is probably the best year Baltimore has been, right? As far as a complete team, right? We have the quarterback, we have the run game, you got the receivers, right? We lost Mark Andrews for the year, but Isaiah Likely has definitely stepped up for us. Our line is pretty solid. Our D line, our defense is definitely something that I didn't think was going to be this good this year, and it caught me off guard. Right now, I think we're probably top three or top five as far as defense concerned in the whole NFL. And it shows week in, week out. Like any team that usually has a good offense, we've been pretty good at shutting them down or containing them outside of the Rams putting up 31. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, man, to me, if I had to say who the best team in AFC is, I want to say me so bad, but my heart is like, man, I know. And like even I know that like we have to see Kansas City at a certain point, right?
Right.
And it's like that is like that's like the big that's like the ghost looking over your shoulder, like, you know, no matter how these things play out, you just know that you're going to have to beat Kansas City. And they're so battle tested to the point where it's like you don't really think it don't feel like nothing can really phase them. You're going to have to either go there or then go come to your crib and you're gonna have to really like put your foot on their neck to really let them know like it's for a new sheriff in town. But as of today, I'm going to say my Ravens because I think that we are a complete team, and I think that even though as great as Pat Mahomes is, this is probably the hardest he's had to work because of the limitations with that offense because of the lack of wide receiver play.
Right.
Um, I think this year has probably been the worst year, even compared to last year, where they even with Juju Smith, their receivers wasn't that great, but they were competent. I think this year,
Right.
this is probably the worst. This is worse than last year. So unless they figure that out, Travis Kelsey, he's still a great tight end, but he's getting older. He's on the back end of his career now. It's
Right.
just a hard task to ask, but when you got Pat Mahomes, that's LeBron. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
you expect to still get to the Super Bowl, at least the conference finals. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough. I'm gonna definitely still say Baltimore, but man, you look at Kansas City. It's like as long as they get in, you got to see them. You have to see them. So
Yeah, and
We
then the Chiefs they have a lot more experience in
yes,
the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So
yes.
you know, I would rather see the Ravens make the Super Bowl than the Chiefs. To be honest with you, because
Yes.
I'm already getting tired of the Chiefs. As a Raider
Look,
fan,
I know you done saying that, dog.
I,
I know you are.
I'm already getting sick and tired of them. But it does remind me of when Jared Goff and the Rams made it to the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. And then on paper, Jared Goff, with Todd Gurley having the best year of his career, they were supposed to destroy Tom Brady. But because of lack of experience, honestly, I think that was it. Tom Brady whooped that ass. Then Kansas City, on paper, with Tyreek Hill and everyone they had going on, met Tom Brady in the Super Bowl and got whipped too. I think because of lack of experience. But
Yeah,
but now Mahomes has all that experience. What is that? 4 Super Bowl appearances now. Um.
yeah, for sure.
So so that I think that's a huge upper hand against any team going into the well, against the Ravens or anyone that makes it to the AFC championship. But
Right.
hopefully the Ravens take it all the way. To be honest with
Right. I hope so too, man. I'm like, and it's just like, there's a couple teams in the NFC as well that's battle testing. It's really just the Niners, if we're being honest. But yeah, as far as AFC concerned, man, I probably this is probably one of the more confident years I've been in as far as us getting all the way. Especially with how even the battle tested teams, they're probably at their weakest as far as compared to previous years. So we'll see how
you.
it
Right.
play out, man.
Right.
We'll definitely see how it plays out. Let's see how long we've been recording. Okay, not too long. So before we get up out of here, we're going to go over the power rankings, how who we feel is running the show right now in week 15, and we're going to go over our week 15 predictions, man. Starting with you, man. We'll go power rankings. You want to do 10 teams or you want to do 5 teams? I said it backwards.
Whichever one you want. I got. I'm
Let's
good. I'm
do.
I'm good up to 10, but we could do 5.
All right, but let's do 10. Let's have fun with it. Let's do the power rankings, man, for week 15, man. Going into week 15, man. Let's do our
Yep.
power
Yep.
rankings. Who do you have, my bud?
All right. Unfortunately, we got the freaking 49ers number one.
Matter of fact, no, go from top to bottom. So go 10,
Top to
9,
bottom.
8,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
top to bottom. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd say based off of this last week's performance, I
Uh-huh.
had I had the Browns at number 10.
Okay.
Uh, but I would put the Jags at number 10 now. Uh, putting the Browns at number 9. We got the Lions at 8. Um, Dolphins 6. I mean Dolphins 7. Bills 6. Chiefs 5. Eagles 4. Ravens 2. I'm sorry. Cowboys 3. Ravens 2. 49ers 1.
Yeah, that's somewhat similar. I think
And
that's on
honestly,
mine.
and honestly, man, I would say the Cowboys and the 49ers are tied for 1. Now, a lot of people talk smack saying, oh, well, the 49ers always look the Cowboys. Dude, that doesn't mean nothing to me because, dude, the
Okay.
Cowboys are stacked, boy. They're stacked. And the
Yeah.
way they're playing, and because, dude, they have players, for example, like Brandon Cooks. He's not like
Uh-huh.
one of those receivers that they're like the best receivers in the league, but he woke up these last couple of weeks, and Brandon Cook is cooking. And then you got Ferguson, the tight end. Ferguson, same thing. He's not the best tight end in the league, but he woke up these last couple of weeks, and man, Ferguson, he's playing amazing. So the thing is that unfortunately, the 49ers and the Cowboys is just one of those teams like the Raiders and the Broncos. The Broncos are a better team right now than the Raiders, but if we play the Broncos tomorrow, we're gonna whoop their ass because they haven't beat us in the last what
Yeah.
like 2 years, 2 3 years, and
God.
it that's what I'm saying. So it's like, how is it
Oh,
possible the Broncos are technically better than the Raiders for sure right now? But yet, if
yeah.
we meet in the game, we're gonna whoop them. Same thing with the Cowboys and 49ers. I don't think the 49ers are better than the Cowboys overall as a team in the NFL. I just think they just got that thing, that magical thing that every team has against some certain team in the league. So
Yeah.
honestly, I would change that. Put Cowboys and 49ers as number one, and
Mm.
move up the Ravens at number two. Um, and
So one
the
ain't
only
going to
reason
be
I have the Ravens at number two behind Cowboys and 49ers just because
okay.
the way the Cowboys have been going crazy in my eyes, the way they've been playing. But
Got you. Okay.
tied for
All right.
one.
I can respect that. I can respect that. I think that that's a pretty good list. I'm not mad at that. For me, I think number 10, man, it was tough, man. I had to kind of pick. It was between it was tough, right? Because I wanted to put Denver in this list because they responded, they whooped the Chargers, but they lost to the Texans, right? So it was like, and the
Right,
Texans just got by the Jets. So I'm like, dang, who can I put? So I'm sticking with it. I'm going with Houston. I still think that Houston, even though they dropped the ball, I think they're still a
right.
better team than what we see. So I got them at 10.
They're
At
number 11
nine,
for me, just so you know.
okay, got you.
So they were
At
like right
nine,
there.
I got Detroit. I think even though they came off a good decent, I think they won last week if I want to say correctly.
No,
Well, actually they lost. They got whooped last week. I
they
take that
got
back.
whooped by the Bears.
I got Detroit at 9, man. I never really liked them. I never really thought they were that good. I think their record doesn't really show how like their record doesn't show what they really are to me. I don't think they're a
Right,
9-4 in my
right,
opinion.
right.
But I mean, they still haven't won the record, so you have to give them the respect. I think at 8, I think I'm gonna put the Jacksonville Jaguars there. I think especially after what happened last week, them losing to the Browns, I got them flip flop. I got the Browns at 7, right?
Right, right.
Coming in with Joe Flacco, shout out to the former Raven. Coming, boy was probably sitting on the couch eating chips. Came out through 3 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think Joe Flacco is probably going to save their season. Especially with
Oh
all
yeah.
the injuries that's been going around. I was just talking to my homeboy because I got another friend that's a Cleveland Brown friend, ironically.
Right.
But we were just talking about I just showed him a link so it got like 9 starters on the injury reserve list that's not coming back for the rest of the year.
Damn.
Mind you, they lost Nick Chubb at the beginning of the year, messed up my
Uh,
whole fantasy league. I was
me too.
sick.
Me too.
I was sick. Then, and then you got Deshaun Watson, and that was a lot of how their offense was going to be schemed around. So to kind of battle through all that, and still be at 8-5, and to come out and beat Jacksonville this past week was definitely something that I think hopefully that could carry them out and finish out the season momentum wise. At number, I think they said number 7. At number 6, I am going to have Kansas City. I
Number
think
six.
Kansas City. Yeah, I think at number 7 I have Kansas City. Respectfully, I think Kansas City. Especially given that they lost to Buffalo, I won. And it's so funny. 11, I got Buffalo. My 11 is Buffalo
Right.
because I wanted to put it out to. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough, right? I think if anybody picked Buffalo at number 10 or number 9, I wouldn't be mad either. Because I promise you, if I were to be real nasty, I want to put Detroit Lions out my top 10 so bad. I don't even want them in there.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I'll let the Rock at 9. They easily. If they lose another game, I promise you, I'm replacing them with the Bills. Um, but I think I said what? I mean, 6 or 5.
Six, six. Chiefs are
Next,
six.
yeah, 6. I got Kansas City. I think, like I said, they gave up the L to the Buffalo Bills, but I think Buffalo got something to prove. But I still think they're one of the best teams to be reckoned with. At number 5, I have Miami. Um, I mean, what needs to be said, they literally just choked the game against Tennessee. Definitely not a good look. At number
No.
4, I have Philly. Philly definitely just got smacked up by Dallas. I low key wanted to put them at 5, but if Miami would have won, I would have put Miami at 4, Philly at 5. But
Right.
Philly is comfortable at 4. They kind of just in their own little world at this point. At 3, I have I have Dallas.
Oh,
I have Dallas at 3. And the reason I have Dallas at 3 is because I think they're good. I think they're great. right? I think they're great. I think that Dak Prescott has been a lot better than we've seen in previous years. I think he's played really well. They're undefeated at home. Offensively, I think their offense is great. I think defensively, they probably been this has been one of their better years. Even though last year they was great, I think this year they're just as good. But I think that I think they're comfortable at three. I think they're comfortable at three. And I honestly, I could see a reasoning for one, two, or three. But I definitely think they're top three. I
I'm not
think
mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
outside of probably one, I think two and three is interchangeable. One, I think it just stands on its own. At number two, I got Baltimore. I think even with this competitive win that we had, I think we've been probably the most consistent this whole year. I think we had a couple, hiccups, but for the most part, I think that on paper, I think we're probably the most complete team. And we got the Niners at number one, man. Coming off another, smackdown against the Seahawks. They still riding high from whooping on the Eagles, so they're kind of just picking up where they left off. And yeah, I think they had to be probably my number one, for sure. And yeah, so
Question:
moving
Have the
along.
four did the 49ers play the Ravens this year?
Yes, Christmas Day.
Who? Oh, you guys. Oh, you're gonna play this year.
What you mean?
Oh, okay, but they haven't played at any time before this year.
No, 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 no. The last time the Ravens played the Niners was 2 years ago, I think.
Oh, okay, okay.
2 years
So
ago,
look,
and we
if
won.
the Ravens beat the Niners on Christmas, you guys are gonna win the Super Bowl.
We be number one yet. But also, too, to be fair, we are 2-0 against the Niners. They haven't beat us yet. To be fair, we've had their
Hey,
number. We've had their number.
that's what I'm
Super Bowl
saying.
3 years ago, and hopefully we can get them back this year. So we'll see. But
That's
I
what I'm
think we
saying.
plan that. I think they're coming out here, and it's great too because they playing on my birthday. So I'm not mad at that. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be chilling, watching. You know what I'm
Your birthday's
saying?
on Christmas?
Yes,
Dang,
yes.
bro.
I am a Christmas boy. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, man.
Okay, okay, Jesus. Okay, Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? And I was just talking. What's so funny? It's just a side note. I was talking to my coworkers about it today. I was like, man, I am one of the few people that is blessed to have to be able to. I had to like play this. I was blessed to the fact that I have a birthday where I got to buy other people gifts for my birthday. And
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, that's just yeah, man.
That's funny.
All right. Well, all right, man. To conclude the podcast, we have a thing we do called weekly predictions. It's so interesting, right? I don't know if William had put the ones. I don't know if William had put the ones up here for you. I'm not sure. I don't see it, but I'm gonna make sure he put. I don't remember what team. Do you remember what the teams you picked last week?
Nah, I don't remember. It's all good though.
Well,
It's all good.
it's all good. I'll probably just out count them for this week for sure. Me and this was probably the first time that me and William picked the same teams and we got them all wrong.
Oh yeah.
All of them wrong. We picked Pittsburgh, they lost. Eagles lost. Dolphins lost. And the Packers lost.
You know
We was
what?
0 for 4. We was
We
0 for 4
we
last week.
we 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 all picked the same team, so
So yeah,
we were all wrong.
it was
Well,
0 for 4
it
as
was a bunch of upsets. I mean, who the hell thought the Packers were gonna
yeah,
lose?
for sure.
Come
All right,
on.
the Packers lost a close one. The Dolphins lost. The Eagles got smacked. That was a 50-50. I wasn't mad if somebody picked the Cowboys. I wasn't mad at that. But Pittsburgh,
Right.
they drew a little egg, man. So all right, we'll see what happens this week, man. So this is like a normal. We go through the week. We only count the weeks that are primetime games, but we getting close to that point. I'll have all. So yours be included in this too. We gonna have all the. I'll have all the predictions and stuff. The record as a whole together, and then I'll have the primetime separate and stuff like that. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, man. Um, so Thursday night, man, we have the Chargers at the Raiders, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Is this how many primetime games have you had this year? It
Like
don't feel like there have
three,
been too many. Like
like three, I
three?
think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, Chargers and the Raiders both 8-5. I mean 5-8. Both teams, I think, are having quarterback issues. I think Justin Herbert is done for the year with his finger.
No, he is.
Coach doesn't know who he's going to start between Jimmy or what's brother name? I forgot his
Aiden
name.
O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell.
McConnell. Um, yeah, and Raiders being 4-3 at home. Raiders coming off probably the most snooze fest of a game that we've probably ever seen.
Crazy.
And I know you watched that game, right? So
Yeah.
just to give a quick quick view of that game, like how was it to watch that game? Because I watched it for a little bit and then I turned it off and then I looked at the scoreboard and I was like, ain't no way this game ended 3-0.
Bro, I almost turned it off. And I never turn off the game. Doesn't matter what's happening. And I was like, dude, it's like I think it's the second half, and then usually show highlights about who's been scoring, the receivers, all this stuff, and what they were showing was who's punted the most. And now I'm like,
Wow.
oh my
Oh
god,
yeah,
it is
that's bad.
ridiculous.
That is
It go,
bad. You know.
dude, dude, it was punt, punt, punt. Going back and forth. It was a punt
Mhm.
back and forth. Uh, my parlays, I used to pick who was gonna punt more, punt less, and I stopped doing that because it's so hard to tell. But
Yeah.
this time I could have put them both for over 5, and I would have hit each one. Um, and it was ridiculous, man. Aiden couldn't 3 strikes out. They're benching Dobbs. They're starting Nick Mullins the Vikings. I'm talking about the Vikings. They're
Oh yeah.
they're gonna start Nick Mullins this next game. Uh, but it's just crazy, man. It was embarrassing, but I don't know. It was
Well, they
ridiculous.
got a chance for redemption, man. Hopefully they can put some points on the end zone, man. So Chargers versus the Raiders. I mean, I'm pretty sure you picking the Raiders, right? I'm guessing.
I'm picking Raiders not as a Raider fan, but the fact that Herbert is out for the season, Keenan Allen is out for the game too, and
Uh huh.
and honestly, the way Aiden O'Connell's playing, it doesn't matter who the hell he starts. We should be able to beat them, unless that rookie starter that's going to start has an amazing game like every other rookie that starts.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Raiders win this game. I think even with them struggling this last past week, hope depending on who they start at quarterback, I think that's kind of the big factor. But and also too, I think I just have a dealing with a lot of injuries, right? Josh Jacobs is not he I don't think he's playing either, right? I think Josh Jacobs not playing. I think
Uh,
Devontae's not playing either.
I think
I had to
Devontae.
check.
I think Devontae's playing. I think Josh Jacobs might be sitting out. Yeah, everyone's hurt, man. I think our center just got hurt. He he had played every single snap all season. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's just that time of the year, so it's hard to
Yeah.
know who's playing.
Right. So it's gonna be very interesting, man. I mean, obviously they made it a Thursday night game, but yeah, I know it's gonna be interesting to see. I still pick the Raiders because they're at home. Hopefully, on a short week, they definitely come with a different energy, and hopefully they can respond and get the dub. Man, I got the Raiders. We have Vikings at Bengals. Both teams are 7-6. Pivotal game probably can change the ship for both teams. So who you got?
Bengals, Bengals, 100%. Brownies of animal.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Brownie did this back to back weeks. He's on the. I don't know how far this gonna go, but I'm watching. I'm watching the whole way because yeah, he's been on a run. He's been footballing. He's been
Oh
balling.
yeah, oh yeah, he's been balling out.
Playing really good, man. Yeah, I probably picked the Bengals as well. I think Dobbs. I mean, especially if they're gonna be sitting Dobbs. I don't expect Nick Mullins to do much.
No,
So
well,
yeah. So
better than Dobbs,
these.
but
Oh, I forgot. Low key, you might be able to catch up this week because they have Saturday games.
yeah, Saturday, 3 Saturday games.
Saturday games. We can. You know what? Let's count these. So you picking the Bengals? I'm picking the Bengals
Bengals,
too.
Bengals,
All right, bet. We both going Bengals. Okay. Steelers at Colts.
Colts.
Yeah, damn, man. I agree. Man, look, the Colts is such a solid team right now. I think with
Yeah,
Minshew at quarterback, man, they definitely have saved or definitely gave their season some light after Richardson been hurt because we didn't know how that was going to turn out.
Right.
But yeah, man, I think the Colts are just a better team than the Steelers offensively. Man, they struggle. Like they can't really score. So
Nah, they
I
can't.
don't know how much the defense gonna be able to hold against the Colts, man. So I got the Colts winning. And then we got Saturday night. We have the Broncos at Lions. Sorry,
Broncos.
damn. I'm gonna just go to. I know. I talked about the Lions, but I'm gonna pick them just because I gotta have a different team than you did. I gotta have one different team. With the Lions being at home, hopefully they plan indoor. They can figure something out. But Russell Wilson and them are definitely rolling right now.
Oh yeah.
It's be a very I mean, it's a lot on the line this game. This game, as the season ends, it gets more important. The Broncos definitely have been, going offensively. Russell Wilson has definitely looked like somewhat similar to his old self. And it definitely gonna be a tough game for the Lions, man. But hopefully, with the Lions being at home and not having to play outside, they'll be all right.
Right.
Um, moving along, man. To Sunday, we got the Bears at Broncos. I mean, not Broncos. Sorry, Bears at Browns. Sorry.
Oh, the Browns. Well, I don't know, dude. The Bears have been a bunch of upsets lately.
Yeah, the
Um,
Bears look good. Bears look good. Their defense is legit. I think their defense is starting to come into form now. And offensively, I think that's still gonna probably take some time, but definitely something they're definitely not to be reckoned with. I just see the Browns just taking care of business, man. Them being
yeah.
at home. Their
But I
defense
would,
has
I wouldn't,
been
I wouldn't be surprised of an upset though. But I'm
yeah,
going with the
for
Browns too.
sure. I agree. Next we have Buccaneers at Packers. Both teams are 6-7. I know the Buccaneers are tied with the NFC South lead division, and the Packers are kind of looking to kind of try to make a wild card spot.
I think George. I think the Packers. The Packers take it, even though Baker Mayfield he's been balling out, but nah, Jordan Love he's been carrying that team these past couple games. Even
Yeah,
though they lost last week, but nah, they win this week. I think.
yeah, he's been playing really well. I got the Packers as well. I do expect this game to be a more of a shootout
Right.
game. I think it'll be like I could see it being like 34-24 or something like that. But I definitely see the Packers winning as well, especially being at home. Next, we have Texans at Titans.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I'll go first on
Uh,
this one.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Texans. I think that CJ Stroud, even though he struggled last week, I expect him to bounce back this week, especially with and I mean the Titans, man, especially with them. I know they're probably on a high right now, coming from beating the Dolphins. So it can really go either way, but I'm going to pick the Texans. I expect CJ Stroud to have a real good bounce back game, and yeah, and come out with the dub.
You know what? I'm gonna take the Titans on this one. Um,
Okay.
CJ Stroud's on my fantasy, so I know he has not been playing good. Not just last week, but these last 2, maybe 3 weeks. What's it called? And then Will Levi's in the Titans. I know Hopkins isn't in his prime no more, but man, I don't know if you saw the game, um,
Mm-hmm.
but DeAndre Hopkins, ooh, he's just an animal.
It's just tough because you don't really get to see it because he's on Tennessee. Like they don't really get primetime games, and unless you're really
Yeah,
doing your research, you don't really get to see what he's doing night in and night out. You know what I mean? And it's not really as spectacular because he don't really have a. They don't really have what they consider a dynamic quarterback. Like for example, like Kyler Murray when he was out there doing it, they was throwing him the ball. So
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, just I've been watching this. I even started following the Titans just because I really like Will Levis. I might not even be saying his last name right every time I say it, but I got the Titans this week for sure.
got you. Okay. All right. Next we have Jets at Dolphins.
Jets.
All right, I ain't mad at that. I mean, that definitely is a trap game for the Dolphins. I expect the Dolphins to take care of business. I got the Dolphins winning, but it definitely looks like a trap game for them. With Zach Wilson, playing as good as he did last week, definitely coming in. Hopefully, they can build on that moving forward. Um, Next, we have Chiefs at Patriots.
The Chiefs,
Man,
man.
I'm
Come
going
on.
with Chiefs. What are we talking about, bro? It's just the Patriots. Moving
Come on.
along. Right.
Nah,
Next, we have
come on.
Next we have Giants at Saints.
I don't know. I mean, the Giants won last week, surprisingly, and
Okay,
not well.
DeVito like that? Can DeVito come on the road to New Orleans and get a dub?
Well, I don't even know the
Um,
Saints have Derek Carr right now. Is he back from
yeah,
concussion? From the concussion?
I don't know. I don't know. It's so many answers I have no answer to. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to pick Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito, I believe in you. Okay, you could beat the Saints. They ain't really good. Man, like the Saints have kind of been in no man's land for a long time, and I really think they
Right,
need to like clean house in a real way. Like get rid of everybody and just like start over. Like
right.
really start.
I Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, but I'm gonna go with the Saints just because I'm a forever Derek Carr fan. So that's the only reason why it literally can go any way. But I'm gonna go with the Saints.
Okay, I ain't mad at that. Next, we have Falcons at Panthers.
Falcons,
Um,
Panthers suck.
man, the Panthers are really bad. But you know
Dude, they're
what though?
horrible.
Desmond Ritter, I'm gonna pick the Panthers. Please win, Bryce Young. I just want you to win another game. I know it ain't your fault, but like, please, please beat the Falcons, please. Oh man. Okay, we have the Commanders at the Rams. I got the Rams. I think I got the Rams. I think they win another game. They end up 500. You know what I mean? They'll be 500 after the win against the Commanders. Even when they played us, I think they played really well. I think the duo, the tandem they have at receiver with what's his name? Pico, Pakua, Makua.
Oh no, Nakua or something. Yeah, I know what you're talking
But him and Cooper Cup, that's a nice wide receiver tandem. Like it was hard to guard them, and especially with Stafford throwing the rock still. If he still want to play, like if he want to keep playing, I think that offense in the near future. I think they're gonna be back in conversations real soon. I know they had to blow that team up because they spend so much money though, but I think next year with a little bit more time, Cooper Cup getting his legs back together, I think that team will be something to look forward to in the near future, man.
about. No, I agree with that. I agree
We get the Ravens.
for sure.
Being the Rams. Next, we have the 49ers at the Cardinals.
I mean, that's the easy one. The 49ers.
Yeah, I got the Niners too, man. I think like even games that look like trap games, I'm just like, you know what? I expect y'all to take care of business. Y'all healthy now, or as healthy as y'all won't be. Yeah, do your job, win the game. Next, these next three gonna be very interesting. We have Cowboys at Bills.
The Cowboys are gonna whoop them. I think. Honestly,
Okay.
I think it's gonna be a big point difference. Uh, Something like 34-20, 21 type of game.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. I got ooh, man. I got faith in the Bills, man. I think the Bills get in there, they get a win. I think they confident. They got the going. I got the Bills at home. If they was on the road, I'd pick the Cowboys. But I think with them being at home, I think with the crowd and everything invested, I expect the Bills to because I mean it's do or die for them. So it's
Right,
either they put up or shut up. I think the Cowboys can kind of could give up this game if they know what I mean if they have to. They might not want to, but I think that the Bills playing at home will be the biggest factor because I haven't really seen what Dallas really looks like on the road, and especially being playing in Buffalo is a little different too compared to a lot of arenas. Um,
right.
so we'll see about that. All right. Well, next we have Sunday night football. We have the Ravens at the Jaguars. I'm gonna just get mine out the way. We already know what's happening. The Ravens going to come in and do damage. They have no Trevor Lawrence. Well, actually, no Trevor Lawrence is playing, I think, but who cares? He's not going to win. So
I
yeah,
got the Ravens, but yeah, Trevor Lawrence is not 100% back. But yeah,
yeah,
no, I mean
yeah.
regardless, yeah, Ravens will take that one. I got the Ravens on that one.
But not to be funny though, but just to I'll give some football analysis. I really think that the Ravens run game is going to really control the game. I think Jaguars run defense is not the best, and I think that if we could touch Trevor Lawrence. I think with the D line, I think we can make a difference, especially because we know that his ankle is not really 100%. So I expect us to send him a lot of blitzes, make him think twice about certain things. So I really think we're going to pressure him a lot Sunday night, and that would definitely be something to look out for. But I still expect us to get the win. I think we probably win by like 10, maybe 14 points. Smooth game. You know what I mean? And then low key, Lamar Jackson going to Florida, and Lamar from Florida. So usually when
Yeah.
he go back to the crib, he usually he has pretty good games if you ask me. So we'll see.
No, I'm
We'll
not mad
see.
at that. I agree with that one. He's gonna show off for back at home
I
game,
think
basically home game basically for him.
yeah, for sure. And then lastly, we have the Eagles at Seahawks.
I can see the Seahawks taking this one, but they just can't afford to lose anymore. The Eagles, so I just think yeah, I think the Eagles will win just because they can't keep losing. But I wouldn't be surprised if if the Seahawks come up and win.
Yeah.
But I take the Eagles.
Yeah, I think I'm going with the Eagles as well. Or at least I'm going with the Eagles. I'm thinking that they just can't really lose no more games. I think in the Seahawks are not really. They have had a hit of like a little. They've have hit a couple stinkers. I'll be honest. I don't think the Seahawks are they're in this like weird place. But even though them being at home, it might make a bit of a difference. But I think with the Eagles being able to control the game, especially being on the road, if they could get the run game going and they could keep time control, keep time of possession, I think they could be able to limit what Seattle will probably bring as far as energy and crowd and slow the game down. And I could see the Eagles walking out with this one. So I'm gonna pick the Eagles.
Yeah, no,
So we both.
I agree.
Uh, all right, man. And we've been recording for a minute. All right. This has been another lovely episode of the podcast, Fourth Rounders podcast. Eric, I appreciate you for being here with us, being
Yes,
a
sir.
good teammate. Like I said, you always more than welcome to come. Hell, if we record on Tuesday, so if you want to just pull up, tell me or William, we always got a spot for you. So,
Thank you.
um, do your thing. But yeah, any last words before we get up out of here?
Uh, Raiders,
Yeah, I mean, you already know what it
Raiders.
Raiders in the building, man. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Until next time, peace in a bucket of hair grease. Yeah. Later.